It was interesting. So in 2016, I actually had the unique opportunity to be the executive assistant to the shoe surgeon. And I worked under him for a while. And so I got to see, I mean, I was working with him 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
So seeing his whole operation, seeing, the designers he hired, for the photographers, to the videographers, to the shoemakers, to even quality control. Like they literally had somebody just hired to do quality control on the shoes. And then I saw the clients that he was working with, and I saw the brands that were reaching out, and I saw like the first fully functional like footwear operation like in the United States, where I was like, this is kind of what you want to aim for in a way, where you're looking at, if you really want to be one of the biggest people in your industry, there wasn't really anyone bigger at the time. And, he kind of was like the godfather of like custom sneakers. And so being able to work with him 16, 17 hours a day, every single day, and just seeing like the ins and the operations. And it's like, it's crazy because the people that worked there with me at the time, every single one of them is splintered off, and they're either creative directors, head of collaboration, huge customizers, run footwear warehouses. I mean,
what's good, everyone? Welcome back to My First Kicks. This is episode 232, and this week I bring to you another special guest, Johnny's Kicks. Johnny's Kicks, right?
Johnny's Kicks. Yeah.
Johnny's Kicks.
Johnny's Kicks. Yes.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, man. A lot of people forget the S.
Yeah, no, I was trying to say, make sure I knew it was like, all right, Johnny's Kicks.
Yeah.
Yo, man, been following your journey for a super, super long time. But for people who are not familiar with you, how about you introduce yourself?
Yeah, Johnny's Kicks. Designer pretty much at this point. Like started off with just designing concept sneakers to turning them to reality with like the best shoemakers in the world, and now being a creative director of like 4 different companies and working on stores and toys and collectibles and hats and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, just kind of categorizing myself as designer of things at this point. Yeah.
Look, that means the art director. What the new thing is now is like community art director. Was it community director or something like that?
Yeah,
everybody's getting that role now.
Yeah, creative director. It's just like, yeah, I think a lot of brands are kind of stuck without having like that creative path in a way. There's a lot of people that are trying to claim that they have it or whatever like that, but I think it's the people that are true and consistent with what they're doing. And I think consistency is probably the biggest thing, and then creating cool stuff. So
yeah, I mean, look, we've got a full suite of table here that we'll probably tap into towards the episode, but you've been creating for a really long time. I remember seeing your stuff on the forums like back in the day, and like just like. And then when in 2020, when I was like really, really following you, I thought everything you were posting was just like, you're just like I don't know, No Brainer, that PSD. He would just post like pictures of like stuff that he created. I thought you were doing that with just like manipulating pictures. And then I was just like, yo, you actually printed these? When I started seeing your story, I was like, this is crazy.
That's literally when the whole journey started, really. I started doing concept designing and posting it on Instagram from like 2014 to 2020. Then the pandemic happened, and it's actually a pretty interesting story. I posted a concept of the yellow lobster Jordan 1 highs, and Dion Point saw it. Dion Point, if anybody doesn't know, he's the creative director of Concepts. He was the guy who designed and created with Concepts the lobster series for SBs. And he ended up posting it on his story. And then I think within 3 hours, he ended up getting like 200 DMs asking if they were actually going to release. And then he just sent me a DM saying, I don't care what you need to do. You need to make that shoe a physical reality. And then the very next day, during COVID, as you knew, like a lot of people were on Instagram Lives. And I just happened to go on an Instagram Live with a maker in New York called C's MC. And he just said, it would be a dream for me to be able to make that shoe for you. So he was an actual physical maker. I was always just like a 3D designer and renderer. Yeah. And basically handed off to him. I was like, I didn't even think to know how to do it, right? It was always like the barrier to me was I didn't know how to make shoes. Yeah. Right. And so I was like, oh wait, he offered to make it. Maybe I'll hand it off to him. He makes it. He's one of the better shoemakers in the space right now. He made the sample, and then we ended up doing 11 pairs for the 11-year anniversary. Yeah, I remember that. Sold out literally within minutes, and just kind of kicked off a wave of inspiration for me to just hand 50 concepts to like every single customizer in the entire space, from painters to reconstruction artists, to just go and go and go. And here I am 5.5 years later.
It's crazy. But you're here to answer the question that I ask everybody each week, and that question is, what's your first kicks? What's that first pair of sneakers you absolutely needed to have?
The Iverson 4s.
Iverson 4s.
Yeah, like
that's not the DMX one.
It's the one with the zipper up the front.
Oh yeah.
It was the DMX. Yeah, with his head on the bottom of it and everything like that. With his arm sleeve tattoo on the insole. I had every single colorway of that shoe. Like that was the shoe that turned me on to sneakers. It was like I was literally ordering from East Bay catalogs or going to the commissary and BX with my mom. Like I was in the military as a military kid, and when you go to the, my mom wanted one of the kids to go to the commissary with her every single once a month.
Yeah.
And the BX was right there, and being military, you could get tax-free and discounts on sneakers.
Yeah.
And then that's when they had like the Jordan 17 with the briefcase and all this stuff. And like that, I was also playing basketball as a child. And so it was like, for me, that was a shoe. It started really with the color blocking. It was the red, gray, and white pair.
Yeah.
And that was the pair that I literally put in for a mail order. Waited 2 weeks, couldn't sleep for almost 2 weeks, just was so excited to get the shoe in, and I just grounded it down. And actually, when Reebok retroed it a couple of years ago, I definitely ended up getting a dead stock pair and sitting in my office in a glass case, just as like an ode to what started it all for me.
Yo, that shoe is so sick. I was like going back in the recesses of myself, like, oh yeah, I remember it now. But like, yeah, it looks like for people who are not familiar with it, but like it looks like, to me, it always looked like a leather jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like the zipper in the front, and then you have the little thing on the top too to close it. And I was like, yeah, this shoe is fire. Never got it.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah. No, I definitely made sure to get like every pair of the white on white, white, black, white, navy. Like it was my favorite shoe.
Where was your mom stationed at, or like
your
so parents stationed?
We were stationed everywhere. Started in Colorado, then moved to England. Actually had a British accent until I was about 12 years old.
What?
Believe it or not. Yeah, we moved to High Wycombe when I was 1, and I lived there until I was 6.
He was there like, Daddy,
and
Daddy.
It was so funny too, because we moved from there to Montgomery, Alabama, which was like the deep South, which is like you take a British kid into Alabama, and that was a whole learning experience all in itself. Then back to Colorado, then Florida, then we finally ended up in Virginia, Northern Virginia.
I've always wondered, because like you are definitely the first military kid that I've had on. So like, how do you make friends when you're moving around so much?
I was just really fortunate to be one of 4 children.
Yeah.
I have 2 other brothers and a sister. So that was super helpful. It was really hard making friends. Like, you're always the new kid. And so you kind of have the stigma of like being the new kid, and it's really hard to fit in, especially some of the places we were only living there for like a year or 2 years at a time. So it was kind of one of those things that you kind of really like relied heavily on your siblings at the time. We were all 2 years apart, which really helped a lot. So, but then that in sports, I was always into sports. So it was like soccer in particular. I think because I still moved to England at a very early age, soccer was like the sport. And so I ended up playing soccer until I was about 18.
And are you like a Premier League
I
person?
actually was going to be drafted by DC United when I was like 15 years old, but then I ended up tearing my ACL in high school, and the whole thing, sports kind of went by the wayside.
Could have been the new Freddie Adu, man. That's like my one reference of like of MLS when they were bringing up Freddie Adu, and he was like every week, the new prodigy Freddie Adu, and then he just fell off after like he actually made it to like up.
I mean, it was devastating, man. I mean, I was on the #1 ranked team in my age group every state I lived in. Like, it was so funny. Coaches even went to court to fight over me for a roster, even though I wasn't in high school or college or anything like that. This was just like independent soccer leagues.
That's crazy.
And like, they just wanted me on their roster when they knew that I was moving into their state, which was pretty insane. But we were driving 9 hours, just for a single game on the weekend when I was, a young teenager. And so it was super competitive. And so for me to like tear my ACL at the time that I did, but then I think it's always just kind of a blessing in disguise in a way, because I really took up art and design, and look where I'm at. So
yeah, does that competitiveness goes into your current, like, because I feel like if you're playing at such a high level, like, do you still feel competitive now?
It's really interesting. I feel like somewhat, but it's more about community to me and like actually togetherness. Cause like when I started my company, I think like most people forget, like when you start a company, or just anything, you feel like you need to do everything yourself. And the day that I learned I can rely on other people to do the things that I'm not great at is when I actually succeeded. So it's like, there is some like competitiveness, but at the end of the day, I also know like what I do in particular with design, like no one can take it out of here. And I'm kind of only competing with myself at that point. And then it's just like running. Well,
that's the running. You catching up on that running. So like, when did you, because you're moving around a lot, right? So like, where did the sneaker culture actually like start to hit you?
God, I mean, it was early on. I mean, I remember even back in the day with soccer, right? It was like the Sambas and, you know, getting the Kappas. And then I was a skater when we moved to Florida. So again, the Etnies and the S's and the soaps, like even with the grind plates on the shoes. I mean, crazy forward design thinking and everything like that.
I saw somebody the other day, man, random, sorry. But I saw somebody start running and I'm thinking like, oh, he's just going to run to the corner. No, immediately. Plates. No, that would be crazy if he had immediately hit the Heelys.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, what? This is 2025. I've never seen that. He literally, and he was going. I was like, this is crazy. But yeah, soaps were like, I remember because when the soaps came out, I had friends that were big into inline skating and they were like, yeah, you know, I wear soaps during the day so I can grind at school and then I'll take what I learned, like that balance I did, I'll take that to when I'm inline skating.
And that's exactly what it was. My brothers were skateboarders and I was more of a blader and like an inline blader and everything like that. So doing like the half pipes and all that stuff. And so the soaps honestly help you learn how to like grind on like curbs and stuff like that. And then when you're getting on the half pipes and stuff like that, it was a lot easier. So, so that, and then I started playing basketball and then that's when like the Iversons, again, early days, like Jordan 17s were like big at the time. I got huge into those and, always an Air Max guy. But I was always wearing like K-Swisses and Reebok Classics and all this other stuff. And then, then, you know, as we progressed, it's like the Boost wave happened. And I probably had one of the largest Boost collections in the world. I had probably close to 200 pairs of Boost. I had
crazy.
Every Yeezy. I had every Pharrell. I had every NMD, every Ultra Boost that came out for the first, I think 3.5 years. That's when every executive Adidas started following me, from John Wexler to Ben Harris to Nick Belly to every single person.
You were posting just straight.
I was posting a lot of, that's where the concept designing actually started. It was like I was doing concept Yeezys with like 4D. I was doing a lot of the Ultra Boost with 4D. And it was funny because like they even released 5 of my designs from the 4D collection 5 years after I designed them. So Adidas was actually using my design concepts in board meetings for like their design processes to then release them later on at retail. So
how do you feel about that?
I definitely felt some kind of way, just because like every time I reached out to them for like a creative role or like an independent design role, it was always kind of like go silence. But then anytime I posted on my page, they were all liking it. They were all DMing me. They were all like showing a lot of love. And so it was definitely really interesting when you actually started seeing full colorways and full designs that you were designing. Again, it was their IP. So I can never be too sour about it, just because it's like I'm really using you as inspiration and I'm just taking parts of your stuff and kind of reinterpreting it in my own way. But definitely an interesting feeling.
I bet. How did you start picking that up though? Like when did you find out, like, I mean, we know that like, you know, you tore your ACL. No, MCL?
It's ACL,
ACL, you tore your ACL. When did you feel like, all right, now I can actually pursue like when did drawing come into your life?
So like like 3 years old, to be honest with you. So it's like I was always really artistic, like super artistic. I was drawing like dinosaur skeletons like at full scale when I was like 5 years old. Jeez. Like I was drawing human anatomy at like 7 years old. I was drawing landscapes and I got just huge into like human anatomy. And then actually one of my drawing books is full dunks and Nike Air Force Ones and Jordan Ones back in like the late 90s, like early 2000s. I look back on them now and it's just kind of blows my mind that I was even using sneakers as kind of like a reference for art. And then all through school, that was the one subject that was very consistent. I even took like senior art in school 3 times, like in my sophomore, junior, and senior year. Art was just always that thing. And then when I graduated, I ended up going to school for graphic design. And so that's when the whole Photoshop thing came into play.
Yes, sir.
And I started learning about Photoshop and Adobe suites. And And then Instagram came along.
Did you ever join like a graphic design forum back in the day?
I didn't know.
I was on them heavy, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I would literally battle people in graphic design.
Wow.
Yeah, like instead of like rap battling, like
yeah.
I would literally graphic design battle people.
That's amazing.
And like be put up, and then you start the arguments after. You'd be like, nah, man, I did way better than this guy. Or like the one that I remember specifically is like, and this is the heyday of forums, was I did a battle where it was like, yo, we're going to give you 4 pictures. Now you got to mush the 4 pictures into something. And then everybody votes on like the theme, and then you got to match the theme. And then they give you a scale of like, okay, how close did you get to the theme? Or like, how close did you get to the thing that everybody voted on, whatever, or voted to represent. Man, you know how many times I was like fighting for my life in those comments?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure.
Because then you got people that be like, nah, I like his, but then you're like, oh yeah, you liked all his stuff already. Like you're friends with him. Like,
that's the things with design. It's very individualized, right? I think with a lot of things, it's just like, it's just based off of personal opinion.
Yeah.
Right. That's why it's really hard and people get down on themselves a lot. I think just as artists in general, it's like you put your heart and soul into something, and it's like, unless you have either a specific backing or somebody promoting it, or a lot of the time it's like it's hard for just normal everyday people to see like the beauty and like how much work goes into like your thought process and your particular art. It's because it's interesting because like, you know, Tyler, you know, recently he's been saying this a lot recently, but Tyler Creator would be like, you know, it'll take me a year to make a song and 10 minutes for you to take it apart. Like it'll take years for artists to put something together, and somebody looks at it and be like, this is trash. I mean, look, I will shit on a lot of art. Like I'll go to the MoMA and I'll be like, why is there a couple strings on this wall? Why is there a light bulb on here? I go to Art Basel every year, so you don't have to tell me twice. It's like, yeah, it's insane.
I haven't seen, wasn't there? No, wait, no, that wasn't it. I know there was like, there's one thing I went to and I was so pissed. Like I turned to my girlfriend, I was just like, we need to leave.
Yeah.
So it was a table and this was at I think it might've been the Guggenheim. It was a table, and in the table, they put like a video under, and it was a plate, and then the plate had a screen, and the video was like somebody's esophagus, and I'm like, this is fucking art.
Yeah.
No,
it's crazy. All up into interpretation, right? Well, I thought the banana duct tape to the wall was, you know, I guess that's art, but look at how far I went through.
I mean, now it's in commercials, man. Like,
it's nuts.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I do like, you know, when like Banksy is doing something where like the self-destructing art piece. I love that. That was so fire. Yeah. You got to do a self-destructing shoe.
Yeah.
You know?
I might have to.
As you wear it, you're like, why is the shoe just like slowly ripping apart? You're like,
as long as somebody's commissioning it, I'm cool.
Oh man. But yeah, so like, yeah, how to like pursuing art, like when did you, you know, really thought like, okay, you know, I can really do this?
Yeah. I was doing the concept, going back, I was doing like the concepting for a really, really long time. And I was getting like hundreds and hundreds of DMs, like if not thousands, like over the years, just asking like, where can I buy this? Where can I buy this? Where can I buy this? And just like you were right. Like everything was just a concepted digital art piece. And like, they were all just concepts that I couldn't sell. And then when Dion said like, you need to make this reality, and then C said that. And then I think once I started like commissioning makers from all over the world, and they were the best makers in the world. I don't care if you were, I mean, name them, I worked with them, and they were making me look really good because I didn't have to worry about shoemaking. When we sold out like the first 10 releases of my first 10 shoes I ever even attempted to sell, I knew I was onto something. I literally quit my full-time job. Like,
what was your full-time job at that time?
So yeah, it was really interesting. I was working as a professional mover out in the DC area, where I was basically working for like the #1 like independent moving company in the world, where I was moving like Redskins houses and like moving
Commanders now.
You know, the Commanders now, or the Capitals, or you know, the Nationals players and the military. And, you know, I was moving 30,000 pounds of furniture a day. And then COVID happened, and I was wearing these masks, and they were like, you have to wear a mask while you're doing all of this now. But then, our first release was May of 2020, and I did the Ben and Jerry Sakai. Was actually the first shoe I ever dropped, and it went crazy viral. Honestly, if I had gotten to the price point where I wish I could have gotten it to, I could have sold $2 million for that shoe. Now, again, with Nike and mass manufacturing and everything like that, but it was like one of those shoes that it just was. I still think it's one of the most iconic shoes that Nike's dropped in the last like 10 years, just because of what it did to like transcend outside of sneaker culture, but what it did to like myself and then like my buddy like Moondust Studios, and we all started at the same exact time and seeing where he's at now. But
yo, jumping in to this week's episode with Johnny's Kicks to remind you all to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And also, if you can, hit that notification bell on this episode and the page, of course. Really appreciate you for capping in. Yes, I'm at work, but if you want to help the podcast even further and get a shout out on the end of this episode or next week's episode or every episode moving forward, you can hit up Patreon at patreon.com/myfirstkicks. We know we got a $3 tier, $5 tier. $5 tier, I will be including a lot more stuff as we keep going. Right now, I only have the first 9 episodes that are not on anywhere, on any DSP. It's only on the Patreon. So hit that up if you want to hear the beginning of My First Kicks. Really appreciate you tapping in again. And back to the episode.
I think that was really the light that sparked it, because I never thought in a million years anyone would actually buy like anything that I wanted to like release. I never even attempted to.
Yeah.
And then when I actually made a physical shoe and it sold out, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. I mean, like so fast that I was like, okay, I can't even make enough of these to even supply the demand for it. And because I'm the digital designer, I can design a new shoe every single day.
Right. Yeah.
Then I work with 20 makers from all over the world where I'm like, okay, I'll sell out. This guy will work on those shoes for 2 to 3 months. Then I'll sell this shoe next week, and that guy will work on it for 2 to 3 months. And then it was cool because I was starting to give all of these shoemakers and customizers opportunities that they had never seen before. Like when you learn that customizers have a problem even selling one shoe every month, and they were making tens of thousands of dollars like on every drop. It was kind of one of those things that I was like, then every customizer started coming out of the woodwork, started DMing me, yo, are you doing this? Are you making this? Do you have somebody making this? And then, yeah, like I said, I'm here five years later.
What, like, how did you build that relationship? Or like,
I think it was my following helped, but I was never like afraid to like DM people. Like I was always a supporter. Like my entire following, if you look at it, it's like people that are doing something within sneakers or within fashion, but I'm also not afraid to be the one reaching out saying, I'm just like a huge fan of your work. Like, let's connect, let's do something together. If there's ever an opportunity to cross paths, like let's do something. And I think that really helped.
Do you think like that's really hard nowadays?
I think it's really hard because unless you have like a larger following, because people are like, well, what's the benefit for me if I have a larger following and you have a smaller one? What's the benefit for me, and how do we bring equal equity to the project?
Right, yeah.
I think that's a huge thing, even for me, because I do get hit up by a lot of people that are like just starting out. They haven't really proven themselves. And I'll be honest, I've turned down probably 70% of the makers that wanted to work with me because they've sent me samples and they're not nearly to the quality that I could ever put my name on.
Yeah.
Like I always said, I want to be the quality of Chanel, but the storytelling of Nike SB. And it's like, if our ethos is aligned, but like your quality really is that good, in any form, I don't care if it's toys or collectibles or podcasts or whatever it is, like we really need to have kind of like an equal equity. And so I think a lot of people, they don't want to put in the time or the work or the effort to get to that kind of quality or that effort. And they just want to be kind of put on and hope. It never hurts to like reach out, but it's also like, how do we work congruently together that it's equally beneficial for the both of us?
Yeah. I'm definitely curious of just like, who instilled that to you? That like the idea of just like, yo, I just don't want to put like half-ass stuff out, and I don't want that also coming to me.
It was interesting. So in 2016, I actually had the unique opportunity to be the executive assistant to the shoe surgeon. And I worked under him for a while. And so I got to see, I was working with him 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
So seeing his whole operation, seeing, the designers he hired, from the photographers to the videographers to the shoemakers to even quality control. Like they literally had somebody just hired to do quality control on the shoes. And then I saw the clients that he was working with, and I saw the brands that were reaching out, and I saw like the first fully functional like footwear operation like in the United States, where I was like, this is kind of what you want to aim for in a way where you're looking at if you really want to be one of the biggest people in your industry, there wasn't really anyone bigger at the time. And, you know, he kind of was like the godfather of like custom sneakers. And so being able to work with him 16, 17 hours a day, every single day, and just seeing like the ins and the operations. And it's like, it's crazy because the people that worked there with me at the time, every single one of them is splintered off, and they're either creative directors, head of collaboration, huge customizers, run footwear warehouses. I mean, there's so much talent that came out of that pool of people that I was working with, and we all had that same mentality. I think, yeah. And I just love quality stuff. Yeah. Right. I'm always that guy that just buys quality pieces instead of like buying mass amount of stuff. So I think it's personal taste, and then I think it's just your examples of who you've been around.
Yeah, the one thing really cool that I've been seeing on your page is like the hats you've been making. Yeah, and they all look extremely quality.
Yeah,
like,
I actually have one of the samples in my bag.
But this recently one, it was like, I don't know, it was like all snakeskin or something.
Yeah, I got a snakeskin build in there.
That is sick. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, like, I'll show it to you for sure.
For sure. Not right now.
Yeah, no, not right now. But I'll let you see it.
But like, yeah, I think it's like. And I'm curious about what your thoughts about, because you've worked with so many customizers. Just like in 2020, we did see a boom of just like customizers coming out of the woodwork. Yep. Like people who just like I didn't even hear about, and they're just like making, you know, oh, I'm gonna make a 95, you know, but I'm gonna paint it like, you know, I don't know, some Travis Scott or something like that. Or like, and then TikTok, I think also pushed that too, where it was just like everybody was on there just like customizing stuff like that. You know, currently right now, I think a lot of the people that I'm looking at is like Bull. Yeah, he does great stuff. Yeah, Bull Air, JSB, who recently did something with Lionsgate that I just saw. Very dope. I think they're really cool. But, you know, like what are your thoughts of just like that rise of customizing, and like, do you think it's like it's peaked and then that's it? We're not gonna see any more creativity of that kind?
Yeah, it's hard, right? Because COVID just inflated everything from sneaker reselling to consignment stores to customizers to, I mean, really the whole sneaker industry kind of blew up at that time. Like everything was reselling for $1,000. Like I'm a creative director of Yankee Kicks. So seeing like it from the consignment side of it and seeing it from, I mean, shit, the amount of consignment stores have closed from 2020 that opened in 2020 to now is insane. Even big guys like, you know, Stadium Goods and stuff like that. It's like, you're starting to see, like, because of the ebb and flow of the resale market has crashed. But then with COVID, it was the same thing where I think a lot of people saw the opportunity where they saw people like me posting every single day. Yeah. A lot of people getting opportunities. And with that, I was working with a lot of customizers, and a lot of them got birthed. And then there was also the shoe schools that were getting put out, from painters to reconstruction artists that were selling schools like crazy. Yeah. And I, you know,
a even lot have of one in Las Vegas, right? It's like not a
Major Waves. It's got he's running a few different ones right now. Which
I know
is
they
cool.
have like a drink and paint a Air Force One type of thing.
Yeah. No, it's and a lot of the schools got cease and desist from Nike and stuff like that. But I know Major Waves is running his. I know he does some kind of Nikes, but I know he's got kind of a deal with Puma, which is cool to see, like a big brand kind of like harness it in a way.
Yeah, we need more of that.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to do something with my own brand in that aspect, to bring customizers and independent designers and stuff like that into it. But yeah, I think when people see financial gain in any kind of field, they're going to try to run after it for the financial gain and not the passion for it. And I think you saw that happen. And I do know firsthand that probably half the customizers in the space did get cease and desist from the big brands because they weren't doing it properly, or they were one way or another, they were getting in trouble from the brands. And so it's just trying to figure out a way to maneuver. And I mean, if you're not getting sales, you can't really last.
No,
right?
It's definitely tough now, especially, you know, these like lawsuits. I think everybody's feeling a little bit like, oh, should I really? I mean, because some people are really like trying to do this mass scale, but then it's like, I mean, if you're selling something that is, you know, not authentic, and then it's like it's a different thing when you buy the sneaker and you tear it apart and you put it together yourself. But it's different when you're like, yo, I'm just gonna, you know, get a factory to do it for me. Yeah. And you try to mass scale that, and you're like, now you're a sneaker company, basically.
Yeah, and using somebody else's IP, which is insane to even think that you have the gall to even do it. But a lot of people weren't getting sued, and now they are, and so now people are starting to wake up. And so The true ones will pivot and maneuver.
Mhm.
You know,
The talented ones for
Yeah.
sure. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah. How did you get involved with Yankee Kicks?
he's just been a friend of mine for a really long time, and we've just been talking forever. And then he flew me down to Miami back, I think 2018.
That store, I went there.
In Manhattan or in
Both. I've
Miami?
been to both.
Okay, you've been to
I've
both.
been to both.
Mhm.
The store in Miami is fire,
Mhm.
right? And I'm not I don't buy resale, so like I just go into the store to experience it.
Mhm.
So like I went to the one Century 21
Mhm.
downstairs, and I was like, okay, this is not the one in Miami, but
No,
like
no.
the one in Miami, I was like, I walked in, I was like, yo, is this really a sneaker store? It feels like an Apple store.
Yeah,
Like,
with full glass and everything like that. Did you go to the VIP room?
Maybe I have.
So we do in all the stores. It's kind of like set up like Louis Vuitton in a way, where it's like you have like this VIP like closed off section for like private shoppers and everything like that. If you go to the one in Manhattan, just mention my name. It's like a 7,000 square foot store. I don't know if you've been down there yet. It's on the corner of Broadway and Bond Street.
Yeah, I went, but I didn't know that there was an extra room.
Oh, a whole huge
Yeah.
extra room. That's where we keep like a lot of the grails, like the white parties and like all the OVOs, like all of my customs are in there. So I think I got probably 15 pairs of my customs just sitting in there. I have the pigeon, the pigeon Montclairs in there.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's like where the real grails are in a way. I mean, the store is filled with shoes, obviously, but yeah, no, I've just known him for a really long time. And then he had this huge connection with sneakers. He's probably got a larger sneaker collection than anyone I've ever met in my entire life. I mean, he's really up there past DJ Khaled or Fat Joe or Kenny Gonzalez or, the Perfect Pair. I mean, when you see his collection, it is multiple millions of dollars. I mean, he's truly like a sneaker collector and enthusiast. And, he just said, screw it, I'm just going to open a store. And now he's really pushing the boundaries of doing like AI personal shopping kiosks and, to be able to put it into every retail store, regardless of sneakers, which is cool to see him like integrating and growing. And we do have, expansion plans, not only within the stores, but consignment. I'd love to tell you our plans for it, but it's gonna pivot in some way, shape, or form. But getting into independent brands, footwear brands, independent clothing brands, and stuff like that. So,
I mean, speaking of independent brands, I mean, we talked about this before we got on air, but I definitely wanted to hear like the origin story of what was the name of it?
Von Grock.
Von Grock. I look. It's a tough name.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be more prevalent in your viewpoints. But yeah, so. This is one of the look-see samples that I brought. We have a couple hundred right now, but this is just one of our lifestyle shoes that we have. It's probably going to be like our one that I'm really pushing the materials and boundaries, like Chinese satins and crazy leathers and furs and everything like that on here. But it was the brand started actually in the late 80s by Peter Moore. And Peter Moore, if anyone doesn't know, he was the gentleman who designed the Jordan 1. He created Air Jordan. And he was actually the designer that was actually going to pull Michael Jordan away from the Nike and Jordan brand. And they were going to go sign him at Von Grock. It wasn't Adidas. It wasn't Converse. It was going to be Von Grock. And then obviously Tinker came with 3 and then game over for that. But
damn, he almost had him.
Yeah. Mutombo was actually the first signed athlete for Von Grock.
Really?
Yeah. So we're actually retroing his first basketball shoe.
I got to see that. I didn't even know.
It's sick. It kind of reminds you of like the old Reeboks and stuff like that. But very retro. We're actually working with his family to hopefully figure out a way to pay homage and
we get a no.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that,
yeah, no. I mean, you got to be true. I mean, they're really known for like their nylon tracksuits and like the 90s basketball vibes, and it really was like a basketball lifestyle brand. But we have about 12 silhouettes, and we're really hoping to launch it by next year.
Hey. What inspired you to be like, you know what, I'm gonna just step out on my own and
so it was actually Yankee was actually approached to buy it from Peter's estate, and him knowing me for as long as we have, and me doing all the custom work for Yankee. I mean, we've dropped probably 30 different customs over the years, and I've designed all the bear statues, like all the massive toy statues in his stores, and I've helped designing the actual like layouts of the stores, and I've done a lot of the design work, and he just really relies on me to do like footwear in particular. Like I'm really a material design specialist.
Yeah. I mean, look at these, man. Come on. Crazy.
Montclair jackets.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did the collaboration with Jeff Staples for the actual opening of the Manhattan store.
Oh yeah.
So that was another story.
I know that's when you hit me up because I was just like, yeah, I was at the opening.
Yeah. So yeah, for that one was actually really special for me. It was like I met Jeff in New York and saw him. Actually, I designed it a week earlier. Saw him at an Artifact after party after SneakerCon LA, and I showed him the shoe on my phone. He said, "We got to figure out a way to drop this." We were opening the Yankee Kicks Miami, New York store months later. We ended up doing the OG pigeons, then a reverse panda pigeon, and we dropped them.
I saw
and then
pigeon.
we auctioned them off at the opening of the store. And I think the reverse panda pigeon sold for $30,000, and we gave all the proceeds to Sloan Kettering Children's Cancer Center.
Shout out Sloan Kettering.
So yeah, so we definitely wanted to create the moment in the story and do something amazing. But now I'm actually making Montclair shoes in damn near every silhouette, from Asics to New Balances to Timberlands to a bunch of different samples in the work right now. So
really,
I'm actually working on a Montclair.
I want to see a Tim. Oh
yeah,
my
so
God.
I already designed a black and a white one. So I'm actually talking to the U.S. creative director of Timberland next week to figure out a way to hopefully make it an actual release, which would be cool.
That would be crazy.
Yeah,
that would be crazy. Do you get to put your name on it, or?
I would hope in some way, shape, or form. Maybe just the patch, or something like that. Maybe not necessarily on the shoe. I want to just kind of keep it clean and simple. Maybe on the insoles, very subtle, very subtle.
Just a little JK on there.
Very, very subtle JK. But yeah, I mean, so when he entrusted me to do the all the design work for these things, and so I really kind of took it by the bull by the horns, and we have around 12 original silhouettes, and from basketball to pickleball to lifestyle to
pickleball neat shoes.
Yeah, so it's crazy actually. Two of the teams that we did pickleball shoes designed for was Drake's team and Daddy Yankee's team. Okay, so we did those about 2 years ago.
That's crazy.
And so it's like it was one of those things. Yeah, we did those a couple of years ago at this point now. But yeah, pickleball has their own shoes, almost like tennis shoes.
I didn't even know pickleball you need. I thought it was just like regular. I don't think anybody's like really going crazy on pickleball.
No, I mean, it's crazy. It's going to be a $5 billion industry.
Really?
Yeah, pickleball really is growing to be the number one sport in America, which is, I mean, I've never played it, but I have tons of friends that do. And so, you know, I'll gladly design them. They're very much like Asics runner driven.
Yeah.
They're very like multi-layered, very heavy meshes, synthetic leathers and stuff like that. So it's a fun silhouette to play around with.
I mean, I think these look great. They remind me of the Louis Vuitton.
I get that every single time. And it was so funny because this shoe was actually officially designed over 25 years ago.
I know, yeah.
So like to see, which is great for me because that Louis trainer is honestly one of my favorite shoes that's like in the market right now. And every time you go to a Louis store, you see the quality and like the materials in which they use. So I definitely draw a lot of inspiration off of the fact that like they're a luxury store, but instead of charging $1,200, we'll be able to charge less than $200 for these.
Oh, okay.
Which we really want to offer the most premium, basically what I've done with my customs, but then offer it on our retail footwear, and then being able to put them in like everyday stores like the Foot Lockers, the Finish Lines, the TTLRs, like Shoe Palaces, and all that stuff. So I think that's been always my goal, from no one being able to support my side of customs, because let's be realistic, it's really for like a very specific demographic for people to justify paying what I have to charge to just hand make these shoes, to being able to actually offer shoes at retail. I don't care if it's like traditional manufacturing or the 3D printed Zellerfelds.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to know what really propelled you into, because like I feel like you push yourself, you know, and you're pushing yourself. I mean, 100 look-see samples. Like you're just like, I'm just gonna crank out 100 designs. Nobody's like, yo, I'm gonna crank out 100 different types.
And that's all the factory would let us put out, to be honest with you, because I've done 800 colorways.
800?
I've done 800 in the last 3 years.
Crazy.
And that's like on top of everything else. Like, but with these, they've been able to create about 100 look-see samples for us.
So like, I mean, you know, 3D printing, it's obviously like I feel like it was a big wave, and now it's like, it's kind of like even keeled out a little bit more. But I do think like Zellerfeld, you know, really kind of ignited a lot of people. Now we're seeing a lot more again.
You're going to be surprised to see what companies drop Zellerfelds here in the next like 2 years.
Oh yeah,
I've seen some crazy.
Are they? So I don't know a lot about Zellerfeld. Are they like the main sneaker?
They are the number one 3D printed shoe company in the world. It's the only one that uses non-toxic materials. They're the only one that are fully recyclable.
Yeah.
and they're trying to be like the YouTube of sneakers. So anyone can actually have a brand for free, which is amazing. So basically creating traditional footwear, you're talking $100,000 minimal investment just to create like a silhouette, design it, have the sole molds. If you have multiple parts of the soles, you have to get the outsole, the midsole, you have to use different densities of TPUs and rubbers. You have to pattern the uppers. You have to create lasts for every single size. It is a huge undertaking just for one silhouette. For Zellerfeld, they do all the back end work for you, right? So they print it, they box it, and they ship it to your clients for free.
Wow.
Or not for free. I mean, they have some, cost within it, but they're doing all of the back end work for you. And it's basically like when you order a pizza. So it's basically orders created, it's printing, it's printed, it's shipped. And then you have a user dashboard. And so you know every single colorway of every shoe that you've ever put out, how many orders there are. And then you just get a pretty much a wire transfer at the end of every quarter for the sales you are. And all your job is to create a silhouette and then promote it.
That's crazy.
So, and then their whole goal over the long term is for you to be able to have, you be able to just print out a new shoe every single day. Where you can submit a design, potentially using AI, right? Be able to submit it, go through the checkpoints, they print it out, and they're expanding with the partnerships that they have with like Nike. They just signed a multi-year deal with Nike, and they're actually moving their factory from Germany to Austin, Texas.
Whoa, okay.
And they're expanding from 250 printers to over 5,000 currently.
Jeez.
And they're also moving from doing solid colors, which has always been like my Achilles heel with it in a way where it's like, I know people want, especially me being a custom sneaker guy, I want multiple colors.
Right. Yeah.
And so this with the Air Max 1000 was kind of like my first example of the first colored 3D printed shoe ever.
Oh, okay. So I've wanted to ask you this question because I've seen a bunch of these that you put on your story, but like, so you're not painting. Are you painting these?
That one in particular is hand painted.
Okay. Cause
so
like,
that was actually painted by Chris Bennis, aka Rupsy Banks.
Oh, okay.
So again, I have the concept. I sent it to one of the best painters in the entire world. And then he ended up hand painting that for me. That is my personal shoe. Cause I wanted to wear it and everything like that. But like Nike's whole plan is going to be, they're going to be the first company to ever have a full 3D printed colored shoe. And so for me, I wanted to just get ahead of the curve. This is why I designed this JK03. So this was this is my fourth silhouette under Zellerfeld, by the way.
So why 03?
Yeah. So the fourth one was, or one of the ones that was supposed to actually be with J Tips.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like with his contract, he wasn't able to release it. And so it was kind of scratched. But yeah, this is the third, I guess, official released shoe. But I wanted to design it just like an actual sneaker. So it's fully blocked, almost like if you look at sneaker culture today, like the most popularized, it's so funny, the most sold shoes in Yankee Kicks right now are Asics, which is incredibly funny because it was before a couple of years ago, the Jordan 1s or the Jordan 3s and Jordan 4s, pretty much always Jordans.
I mean, I do think
the easy slides or like the foam runner, stuff like that. Like that was huge.
I do think that, the runners is back, like they're coming back. They have been back. So yeah.
But it's like the flexibility of them, the comfortability of them. I mean, you can literally, just fold them up in your bag and keep going on. But
no creases, you're good to go.
No creases whatsoever. And then the full traction pattern. So if you want to go hiking, or if you want to go on the trail run or whatever it is, but I'm gonna literally take the same color blocking that I put on custom sneakers, and I'm gonna be the first designer to have. I think I've already designed 45 colorways of this shoe.
Do you sleep?
Honestly, it's so funny because like once you've broken it down, it really takes me like 15 minutes to create a new colorway.
Okay.
It's really just, thank God, Photoshop and all this other stuff. So I'm able to change Pantone colors and change blocking. But are you using like a tablet? Like what are you? So I have a pretty extensive rig at my place. That was one of the first things I invested in when I actually started this whole thing. It's like I ended up customizing a Bison with like 3 graphics cards and like having like 2 45-inch monitors. So it's like I'm at it 10, 12 hours a day though. Like I take Saturdays and Sundays to myself for the most part, but I'm pretty much an early riser. I get up at 6 a.m. and I'm designing until 6, 7 o'clock at night, like every night.
Jeez.
So, but I mean, when you think about it, doing these, doing those, doing customs, and then I'm also now just newly signed to helping footwear design and development at Palm Angels.
Wow. Okay.
So, which is my street footwear brand.
No,
or
yeah.
streetwear brand. More known for clothing, but
Mhm.
I'm really kind of being brought in to do their footwear.
Mhm.
So
what is so then? I guess my question is like, what is your goal?
honestly, expansion always and always.
Yeah.
I want to like run sneakers in every way, shape, and form.
Mhm.
Honestly, my goal. It's so funny because I was actually just on a phone call the other day with one of the most successful entrepreneurs in America.
Mhm. Mark Cuban?
You could say he's wealthier than Mark Cuban.
Okay.
But this guy actually wants to bring footwear manufacturing at mass scale back to the United States.
Okay.
And he wants me to kind of head up bringing it here, from figuring out the machinery to the manufacturing to developing new silhouettes to doing pretty much everything. So for like hiring a staff of like literally 100 Americans to like run the operations, the machinery, like reverse engineer using like American engineers, like really bringing footwear for the very first time on mass scale to the United States.
And like this is like a like starting a brand from scratch,
literally completely from scratch. So like that is
giving me anxiety.
Yeah, I mean it's the thought process of it is like when I was approached for it, I understood how much of an overwhelming task it is. I've been to China like a couple times to see like the operations, the factories, like especially with the Von Grock stuff, and we visited every single factory and seeing the machinery and the teams and the engineers.
You got
and
any China
AutoCADers.
stories? You got any crazy China stories?
Not really. I mean it's insane to see, like it's really cool to see that end of footwear. Like, because again, I want to know everything about footwear. Like if it's in my space, I want to know everything about it. And I think it does a lot for when you're actually at the source. Yeah. Like every footwear, like shoe that we've ever worn has come out of China, whether it's Guangzhou or Shenzhen or Dongzhou. It's like, so it's cool to like go there, see the Jordan factory, see the Nike factory, New Balance, K-Swiss, Asics.
Did you go to the fake building?
Well, it's so funny when I went. Yes, I definitely went to the malls. It's funny because I've actually had 18 of my customs mass manufactured. Yeah. Mass manufactured. Yeah. Like I know the Ben & Jerry's were mass manufactured over 1 million pairs. My What the Dunks recently, they were mass manufactured over 250,000 units. When I went to the Dallas State Fair last year, I saw 5 different people wearing my What the shoes.
Damn.
My What this, and like that shoe, I only made a couple of pairs, and it literally cost like $10,000 to make because they're made with the orange and the yellow Grateful Dead soles. Right. Yeah. And then 39 other shoes inspired to make that shoe. And so seeing like factories, I don't care if it was the Warhawk, Sakai, I mean, the list goes on and on and on, but when you go there and see them in hand, like I know my buddy John Geiger was literally just over there and he saw his 004s in the mall. Right. Like, and seeing those being mass manufactured. So it's pretty insane that like if they see something or a trend online, like they're gonna mass manufacture it to their own benefit. And we'll never know because we're not over there.
Right. I mean, I watched Sniderb. Shout out Sniderb.
Shout out to Sniderb. Yeah, he's my boy. I've known him. It's so funny because he's actually he's the guy that reaches out to me in particular, and he always is willing to just send me my fake versions of my customs, and just it's like, do you want? And it's so funny when he was the one who taught me about like the tiers of fakes. Yeah. Where he's like, so there's 10 different tiers of your fake. Which one do you want? I was like, well, if you're going to send it to me, you might as well send me the AAA version of it because I want to see like the best quality of the version that they made a fake of. Yeah. And it's just insane. And then it'll be like, all right, yeah, that'll be $60. And I'm like, this is insane. Like, it's just, it's incredible. But like, yes, having a guy like him, that's actually how we got connected. He reached out to me about the Ben & Jerry's because it's like your Ben & Jerry's are sold anywhere from like a 4C all the way up to a 15. They're everywhere in China right now.
I remember he made a video one time, and I'm not gonna hold you. I think they look amazing to be honest. But somebody made a Ben & Jerry's, but it was like brown cow.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, and so then
so I made a Neapolitan version where it was like a strawberry.
So they faked your Neapolitan version.
Yeah.
And I was like, this shit is fire. Like I was like, all right, this is fire.
So I did a cookies and cream version, which was like white, black, and gray, and the gray was actually black speckled, almost like the cements. And then I did a Neapolitan version where it was 3 swooshes instead of 1 ice cream swoosh, but it had like vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. And then the cow was brown cow. Yeah. And then it was like a aged sole with a pink outsole.
Yeah, I think that's the one that I saw.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
faked it. They faked.
Yeah, that was one of the 18 that they faked. Yeah.
That's crazy. And it's funny because I was like, damn, they're really being really creative out there. No, they just took your shit.
Yeah. No, they definitely watched me like an eagle, like for sure.
Because I know they made over there. I know because we talked about No Brainer, and they did his like
what the Halloweens.
Yes, and they also did his Initial D's that he made.
Yep.
And I was like, damn, I'm like, damn, he should really release these because it's like these are dope, but like, I mean, I'm not gonna justify. Because he got upset because I remember he made a post about it too. Because he got upset because they stole his design, they made it in the factory, and now it's an actual shoe.
Yep.
Right. And he didn't get a chance to do that. And I don't know. Like, I mean, how does that feel?
It's
well because you get to make the shoe. But
but it also sucks though too because knowing that like. Again, it's not my IP, so I wonder how Nike feels about it. To be honest with you, but it's also like. Yeah, I mean, the fact that like I have to charge my clients X amount, we have to spend like 40, 50, 60, 80 hours making a single pair. And then just seeing people walking around with $100 version of it and it's like 100,000 pairs and I don't see a single dime from it or again, Nike sure as hell isn't seeing a dime from it, but then just.
And also people don't know that you made it too.
And well, the thing is a lot of the times like they'll just have my logo on it.
Yeah.
Which I thank God I just got it IP'd and trademarked and went through the patent office. Shout out to Zach over at Sneaker Legal.
Shout out Zach, man.
You know, my boy. But that finally went through. So now I'm trying to get it on a global scale. But even then, it's so hard to do anything about it, right? And it's not even like my IP, which is insane to think. It's like this. The first time it happened, it really blew my mind. But then now seeing it happen 18 different times, like I know the number. It's like I've literally been tallying like every single shoe that they've done it to, and so. It's like, I'm just wondering what's the next one.
Yeah.
And so I try to use materials now that are a little, cause there's no way they're repping those.
Definitely
There's just no way, but
definitely
it's like,
not.
And the 3D printed, like they're not going to be able to replicate 3D printing shoes.
No.
But I'm sure when these start coming out, like that's going to be one of those things, like if they're mass manufactured over there, but it's like, if I can bring manufacturing back to the US and keep the tooling in the United States, I think it'd be a really interesting dynamic because I think things will actually be limited, right? Because it's like, if I'm controlling the manufacturing and the tooling, they would have to deal with it straight off of pictures instead of actually having the tooling made from the shoes made overseas. Cause like these factories aren't loyal in a way where it's like, if you go there, like I know Kai, he just went over there and he's getting his new shoes dropped and everything like that. Like those are going to start getting mass manufactured because they're going to see how many units he's doing out of that factory. And then it's just going to make sense for them to make mass manufactured versions of it for like a third of the price.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. Just because because, I don't know if you've seen like rep culture or whatever you want to call it, like people that buy reps.
It's a huge thing.
Yeah. And it's like their whole justification. It's the same. They're using the same factories, the same materials. They're just not official or whatever.
I think the majority of people are wearing fake shoes, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I don't even think they know it. To be honest with you, it's like these factories they're making them in the same factory to the same factory owner. Right. So what I saw firsthand was, I think Ben Baller even mentioned this a few weeks ago, but it's like the factories are getting paid $1, $2 a unit. All they know is cheap. That's the word that they use over and over and over again. Every company just wants cheap. That's why they go over there. Right. Well, the factory owners know all of the resellers that are selling on all these Instagram pages. So what they're doing is they're saying, okay, we'll run it from 9 to 5 for Nike. We'll give them their 30, 40, 50, 60, 100,000 units. Right. But then we're going to run the machines from 7 o'clock to 4 a.m. We have the same soles. We have the same molds. We have the same material rolls. We have everything. We were just making them for Nike in their order for us. But instead of like the $2 that they're paying us, we'll ship tens of thousands of pairs to these resellers, or they'll just keep them in the warehouse and the resellers will sell them on a pre-order through a client through like WhatsApp or something like that. Once they get the order, they'll say, factory, I need this shoe, this size. They'll send it to them. But then these fake sellers, they're selling them for almost retail. They're selling them for $100, $200 retail instead of, the $700, $800 resale. And that factory just made $180 on that same shoe that they just got paid $2 from Nike to make. Right. So they're actually incentivized to make the fakes. And then with, I really don't want to, throw a lot of these resale platforms under the bus, but even, StockX and stuff like that, right? They just had this massive lawsuit with with Nike.
Right.
I've never been to their facility. I don't know how their authentication thing works, but it's like now with them taking off the legal disclaimer, and I think almost every single one of them did from that lawsuit, basically saying we can no longer guarantee authentication of any product.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
Yeah, so they took it off. Because they want to secure themselves from getting sued again, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like they go through these points of contact to be able to try to authenticate it the best they can, but no one can truly authenticate a shoe, and so when you're getting them made from the same factories, they're going to go through and it's going to look the same box, the same everything, and then they're going to push it through.
Yeah.
Well, when you get that tag from any one of these places, you're just going to assume it's authentic, but it might not be. It might be, but it might not be.
Right.
And the majority of them, 90% of shoes in the market are fake.
Yeah.
So it's like a bag. How do you tell a woman's bag from a non-real bag? The difference is they're not reselling those bags, but it's like when you go to SneakerCon events, when you go to those tables and you have literally 10 people at the event, like authenticating shoes, more than half the time they're fake, right? Those shoes are being bought or trying to be sold to those clients from vendors at these events.
Yeah.
And they're fake, but they don't know it.
Yeah.
Or the table doesn't know it, or they do know it and they're trying to get one off on somebody. It's so prevalent that we don't even really think about it anymore. It's really so ingrained that we really don't even pay attention.
No, it makes me scared. That's why I strictly only stick to retail, because it makes me scared of like, okay, now I'm stepping out into the 50-50 chance. And like, I'm like, I don't want the 50-50 chance. It needs to come straight from the retailer from this point. And then that causes like, then we get the influx of like people that are not really know about this stuff. So then later on in life, they're feeling like, oh, okay, I have all these sneakers and now I don't really know what it's worth, because when we keep moving this goalpost that we're creating with, resell and like fakes and stuff like that, there's a market for that. And now we're like expanding, like, what is the possibilities? Am I selling a fake sneaker? Am I doing like, it's like, I don't know. Like back when we were growing up, it was so easy to spot a fake, right? You're like, oh yeah, he's wearing fakes. His shit just says Air on it. Like there's no Nike on it. Like, and now we live in this world where it's just like, I don't necessarily, because everybody's like, yo, the justification is like, okay, at one point when the presses turn off, they have to stop using the same material. And if they're going to use the same presses, they could change the material. Like they have to change the material.
They're not incentivized to, because then they would actually have to source the different material. Yeah. Like when they have spools and spools and spools of it, like they're incentivized knowing that it's like, okay, well, Nike is paying us $2 for these when I can sell them to somebody else for $180 with the same stuff. But the thing is, it's so funny when you actually look at some of the fakes compared to the retail pairs, the fakes are actually made better quality. They're actually better. They're made with like less stitch messed up, less glue stains, because they're actually competing with Nike at that point.
But that's the highest of tiers. Like,
and
that's not
a lot of them are aiming to be the highest tier, right? It's like they do have these tiers where they'll send them to like the markets, but when they're targeting American audiences, they're definitely trying to like make sure that they're selling it. Now, again, everyone's got a price target, right? There, you'll see blatant fakes out here. That's because the person wanted to buy it off of the factory for $50, $60. But it's like, if somebody's paying $180, guarantee you, I know for a fact, like the Undefeated, that's going to be mass manufactured, probably 3 million units.
Yeah.
Again, that's not from Nike. That's like, they'll probably do 500,000, like maybe 300,000. But the factories are going to just run that until the resale is at like $200.
Damn. Because I know the Brick Fours, I watched Snide's video on the Brick Fours. And he had 3 pairs. And I was like, all right, he's like, yo, this is the cheap one. This is the medium one. And this is the elite, whatever, $200 pair. And I was like, they just progressively get better. And I'm like, that's scary.
Yeah. And have you seen the blue pair and the black pair that they've done?
Yeah.
So they've already, I don't know if that's.
Was that you? Did you make those?
No, I didn't make that. I was, I did a puffer jacket version of the Undefeated Fours with
I think I
military puffer jacket and everything like that. And I was thinking about doing like a black cat version, which I think would be kind of cool.
I know Sneakerden, shout out Sneakerden. He posted his like what he thought the Pro-Tro version of it. Like,
yeah. He was I don't know if it's because a lot of these guys, they see the catalogs like way ahead of time. And so sometimes where it might seem like a fake leak, all of a sudden, like you'll see it on Jordan's schedule like 6 months later. So it's like they might do a brick by brick all black, or, almost playing off the black cat, but it's like a brick by brick or something like that. Or they might do the blue version. God only knows if they'll do like the M&M 4s based off of like the hype what just happened with like the, the undefeated and Chris Union talking about it and everything like that. So, but no matter what, if the factory can make money from it, like they're going to make money from it for sure.
Look, we're towards the end of the podcast, man. And, we don't condone fakes real quick. Just gonna say that.
No, absolutely not.
Fakes.
Definitely want to it was more educational to let people know to just definitely keep your eye out.
This is going to get clipped to high hell, I feel.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be like, oh yeah, this podcast promotes fakes. We should listen to them. Like, no.
No, definitely. I think it's one of those unspoken things in sneakers that like, I feel like most people just are never privy to.
No, yeah.
So
the reality of it, like the chances are now much higher than they were before.
Yeah. I think just being in sneakers, I'm privy to every aspect of it. So definitely.
But now we're towards the end of the podcast and it deals with a little visualization. I want you to think back to when you were younger Johnny's Kicks. And now he's about to open that box of the Iverson 4s. And now you're you behind your younger self. What would you tell your younger self as he opens that box?
Oh man, keep on the path.
Keep on the path.
Yeah, keep on the path. Be true to yourself, man.
Not stretch before you tear your MCL.
Yeah, that wasn't my fault. I was tackled.
Damn!
That was a cheap shot. Yeah.
Step back on the don't get tackled.
yeah. Seriously. Yeah. No, that sucked. Yeah. I'm pretty happy with everything that's going on.
What's the path you're specifically saying? Because I feel like you've had a lot of paths. I can't. I think
it's just being true to myself. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like there's a lot of naysayers in life. Like every single person in my life probably has told me to like not do this in some capacity or the next. Like they don't understand it at all. Like sneakers is a niche on niche on niche on niche. And I'm actually the first entrepreneur in my entire family, on any side of my family. So
I mean, because I feel like, you grew up with parents in the military. I'm pretty sure they were like, yo, when are you going to jump in on this?
Yeah. And I have a large family. My dad's got, 8 siblings. My mom's got 4 siblings.
How much of is it like a pretty heavy military family?
Not really. And most of them are really just kind of small town individuals. And most of them live up in New England, or they're spread out in like smaller towns like Nebraska or Kansas or Carolinas or something like that. But yeah, it was like my dad was like one of the more successful people in his entire family, but I think they were always playing the safe route, or they never realized like a dream could come true in a way where it was kind of like, I think that's just true in life. I feel like most people are surrounded by people that have never actually lived out a dream and they don't know what's possible. And so they try to deter you and try to tell you to just stay on a safe path, I guess, in a way, and try to create the safe route. And I was always the rebel in that way, where I always just I was always creative. I was always artistic, and I loved sneakers. And so for me, I was like, the fact that I was able to meld like every one of my life passions plus like, my work ethic in a way that I was instilled with having a military father, and like and seeing how hard he worked and diligent and how much he worked to supply a good life for us and my family. It was like, I think I just took everything and just been true to myself. Yeah. Like I haven't let anyone deter me from my path, and I've surrounded myself with really, really cool, successful people that are just pushing themselves to do the same thing in every realm possible. And I met some really cool people along the way, and been able to work on some amazing projects, and it's just growing like crazy, like year over year over year over year. And
you're about to have a factory in the United States.
I mean, that would be ideal. And if I can really supply jobs and keep supporting the people that have the same vision as me long into the future, and it's still within art and sneakers and creating, because again, I think sneakers is one part, but I've really found joy in doing hats and clothing. I really want to have a full clothing line, and doing hats and toys and stores, working with Yankee and expanding globally and doing like retail stores. And my dreams are big. And so it's like, if I can just keep surrounding myself with amazing, talented, driven people, just stay true to myself and my vision.
No, man, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Let everybody know where to find you.
Pretty much Johnny's Kicks _ on Instagram. That's pretty much where I stay.
Website?
No website.
No, I feel
not-
like just
website in the works. I mean, I have JohnnysKicks.com, but it's offline right now. I think once I have the shoes done, I'm working on clothing. I'm working on a whole slew of other things.
Yeah.
I want to keep Nikes off my website and everything like that. So as I work farther and farther down the independent route and expand farther off of just customs, because I think that's going to be the huge transition point for me. Like I've been doing customs for 5 years, but you're going to see over the next 5 years how much like my independent brand takes off while approaching it the same way as I approach customs, really, really high end with storytelling. And so if I can do that same thing, but on an independent level at retail, is like the big thing.
Yeah.
Allowing people to actually support and wear the stuff that I create. It'll be probably relaunching here. I'm hoping by the end of the year, or early next year.
Hey,
no rushes.
No rushes.
Yeah.
No rushes. And actually, I don't know why I said that. I was going to actually do the outro. Passing it over to me to do the Patreon shout out. Shout out to me and shout out to everybody who's been a Patreon subscriber. Peace. There you go.
Man, I appreciate you, dude.
Nah, I appreciate you, man.
Jumping in at the end of this week's episode to say thank you for listening to this week's episode with Johnny's Kicks. And of course, got to do Patreon shout outs. So shout out to Adam Newstetter, the first person to subscribe at the $5 tier, Ross Adams, Fresh Poetic, aka Derek, MSR, Adam Butler. Check out MSR Radio. I think it's coming back. I think they starting to push some episodes out too. And then Jesse G, without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do an episode. And you too can join and help me produce these episodes with subscribing to the Patreon at patreon.com/myfirstkicks. It goes a long way. I am building it out a lot more. We got the first 9 episodes of this podcast, which you cannot find on any DSPs. And it only lives on Patreon. In order to hear that, you have to sign up at the $5 tier because, boy, they're rough. And I'm also missing the second episode, which I'm still going to find. And I will be, as I mentioned before, I will be going on this trip to Portland next week. That's right. That's zoomed up. And I will be taking a lot of BTS, a lot of vlogs, a lot of just content that I will be splicing together that will only live on Patreon. So you have to have the $5 tier to see any of that stuff. A lot of exclusive stuff. I promise you that. And of course, if you follow me on Twitter, I have mentioned that I have a ton of content from ComplexCon 2023. I'm going to start probably slicing that into a video or something like that. And it will live only on Patreon. And I'll probably throw some trailers here and there onto YouTube or something like that, just to get some people on here too. But every single one of your dollars count because they go straight back into the podcast. It really helped the podcast. And I'm hoping to make sure that this podcast lives on forever as I continue to build this out and as I continue to work to get more guests and, add more to the infrastructure of this podcast. We've got more merch coming. Please let me know if you haven't gotten your shirt and you ordered it. Please, I will help you out there. And I appreciate you if you stay to the end of this episode and want to check out more. You can check out these 2 episodes here and hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're on YouTube or Apple Podcasts, we always say each week, wear your kicks. Peace.